Can the Phantom Troop defeat the Chimera Ants and save Meteor City? Find out in my review of Hunter x Hunter Episode 97. The last couple episodes of Hunter x Hunter have been really action-packed, and this episode is no exception. And the fact that the Phantom Troop is involved just makes it even cooler, and this one featured two of the main members facing off against the Chimera Ants and completely just messing them up. This was an awesome episode. My favorite moments were definitely towards the end when we finally got to see Feitan fighting, because he's just one of the coolest members of the group. He's so mysterious and awesome looking. But there were some other characters who got a lot of highlights. Before I actually get into the fights, I want to talk about Kalito Zoldyck. He is the character who's the younger brother of Killua, and we got to see like his reaction to all of the Phantom Troop members this week, and I love that he was sort of taken back a bit by the fact that they're all so much more powerful than he is. When he sees Feitan fighting at the end of the episode, he just can't really keep his composure. He just realizes how out of his league he is compared to like all of these guys. The first fight in this episode was between Shizuku and Pike, the big spider dude. And this fight was definitely one that they were building up a little bit, and I love how it was executed. It was actually a very funny battle. These characters are very clashing in terms of their personalities, but that is what makes it really interesting. Pike is just a real creepy motherfucker, just the way he's constantly spewing his webs all over the place. And eventually he uses this technique which is called the love shot, and that's way too easy of a joke, so I'm not going to go there. Essentially he fires this giant golden spider web which is able to capture Shizuku, and she's stuck inside this giant ball of web, and he starts to carry her off to the queen, and then all of a sudden she breaks out, and I love how she appears. She's just sort of in her underwear with her giant vacuum. It's really funny, but then she's able to finish off Pike in this really awesome way. She hits him with a bunch of attacks which has like all of his blood coming out of him, and then she's able to use her vacuum blinky to suck up all of the blood in his body, and he has too many wounds all over his body, and it's actually kind of funny how he's trying to like stop all the blood from coming out, but eventually he gets completely sucked dry. The battle between Zazan, the Scorpion Lady, and Feitan is really awesome. It's really fast and very fluid and just really gets your heart pumping. I love throughout the entire battle you get to see that Feitan is actually not at full power, and he's just trying to get back into the groove of things, and as the battle is going on it tends to get more intense. I especially love the fact that he has an umbrella sword. I just think that's really cool. I especially love the scene where he's about to stab Zazan with it, and then he actually has this button he can press on it which fires it out right at her face. This pisses her off, and she ends up ripping her tail off, which is just messed up to say the least. And then she goes through this like drastic transformation where she turns into this like half woman, half crocodile, Godzilla looking monster thing. I don't know. All I know is it's awesome, and I guess this just has something to do with the fact that they're Chimera Ants and they can possibly change form as it goes on. Feitan is pushed back a little by her attacks, but then he starts to get really pissed off. I love the way they demonstrate it. You get to see like all the katakana is appearing on the screen as he's getting pissed off. And then he puts on this like brand new suit which is like all red, and it covers his body completely. I'm not really quite sure what to make of it. I just know that it looks really awesome. And similar to the last episode where Bona Lenev was able to summon like a giant Jupiter to attack someone, Feitan summons a giant sun in this room, and all the other members of the Phantom Troop start to run because if they get caught in this, they're pretty much screwed. And if you're caught like within the vicinity of this attack, you're just going to be burned alive. And he's basically just torturing Zazan, who's just immediately being incinerated by all of this. And as he's going through all of it, he's just saying this really messed up stuff. He's like, oh, you can't even talk, can you? It's because your throat has been scorched. Eventually, Zazan is burned to death, and he releases his sun technique, which you can see the extent of the damage. It just destroyed the entire top center of the layer, and just everything is just completely burned away. And this is pretty much the end of the episode where we get to see all the Phantom Troop are finally making their way outside. They've saved Meteor City from the Chimera Ants. Another really badass episode of Hunter x Hunter. Very similar to last week's, they decided to take a few members of Phantom Troop and focus on them a little bit and show like what their powers can do and what they're fully capable of. And I'm totally okay with that because the action in this series I think is really good and really fun and inventive. I can't really think of too many other anime series where someone uses a vacuum to attack anybody. I'm sure there's one out there. I mean, Japan's pretty weird, but still, all the stuff with Feitan this week, really awesome. I love his character, you know, he's just inherently a badass, just his design in general, you know, you just can't help but like that character. But all the other little bits, like Zazan, she is one crazy bitch. I didn't see her transforming into some weird crocodilian monster, but whatever, I can accept it. Chimera Ants are crazy. There's even this scene at the end of the episode where they're walking out and there's all those other mutated Chimera Ants and they're all asking to be killed, but Finks is like, no, I don't do mercy killings. If you want to die, you have to attack me. I just love Phantom Troop. They're one of the most interesting group of characters in the series. I really hope they are able to do more with them in the Chimera Ant arc. because these last 2 episodes were really, really fun. But I am excited to finally go back to Gon and Killua's story. I also can't wait to see how Kabuto's plan is going to work with Killua, how he wants to bring him back to the dark side, so to speak. I don't know where that's going, but it's just opening up a whole new can of worms. So, awesome episode. I actually have 0 complaints. I'm really enjoying that so far about Hunter x Hunter. Ever since I've started reviewing it, every episode has just been really, really good. And it's just proving that the Chimera Ant arc has been one of the best arcs of the entire series. So, if you are fans of the series, please make sure and check out this episode. It is really, really awesome. Phantom Troop, easily one of the coolest group of characters in the show. Make sure and check it out. So if you guys did see this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter, I'd love to know what you thought about it. Did you have any favorite moments? Any favorite action scenes? Did you love seeing Feitan summon that giant sun? You can let me know with your comments below. And remember guys, before you leave, make sure and give this video a thumbs up. Absolutely one of the best ways to support our videos. And you can check out some of the other reviews we got up top, like Attack on Titan episode 24, the last one before the season finale. So, I will see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.